When we look at AI and art today, the public conversation is too often stuck right on the surface level. Critics and creators alike tend to obsess over the names of the tools, like image generators, and the immediate visual outputs they produce. Lumping everything into one broad category of AI art creates a blind spot. It treats a simple, standalone generated image as if it is the exact same thing as a complex, interactive cultural system. This leaves us with a serious analytical gap. If we want to rigorously evaluate and design these systems, we need a way to look past the software brands and prompts. Knowing the name of a generative model does not tell us what structural role the artificial intelligence is actually playing inside the creative process. To solve this, we can use the AI for Art domain compass. The compass functions as a navigable design space for structuring AI's role in creative work. It allows us to map any project by looking at three interlocking layers: its structural position, its value direction, and its internal mechanism. The framework maps how AI integrates into an artistic ecosystem, defining the structural depth of that relationship. Moving away from a tool-centric mindset and toward this structural map gives designers, curators, and researchers a reliable way to plan, adapt, and justify AI art systems. This diagram establishes a project's exact position by plotting two foundational axes. We call this first layer the regime map. The x-axis defines the specific artwork aspects that the AI is touching. An artwork is divided into three categories: meaning, which covers the concept or narrative; form, dealing with the style or physical material; and context, referring to the audience or the situation where the art exists. The y-axis measures the depth of AI integration within the project. This vertical scale progresses from Tier 1, where AI is used merely as an external assistant, up through embedded workflows and specialized domain collaborators, all the way to Tier 4, where the entire system architecture is reinvented. When these two axes intersect, they create a conceptual grid. Any possible AI usage pattern can be accurately located within these 12 cells. Plotting a project on this grid strips away the marketing hype. It forces a creator to explicitly state exactly what part of the artwork the AI touches and exactly how deeply it is embedded. Let's track a case study. If an artist uses an off-the-shelf image generator purely to explore visual styles, that project sits right at the bottom center, Tier 1 interaction crossed with form. If that same artist builds a repeatable prompt and control workflow, the project evolves. The node moves upward into Tier 2 integration. If they go further and train a model on a highly specific archive, the project is pushed even higher, reaching Tier 3 adaptation. Because the axes are clearly defined, this map acts as a strategic planning tool. You can chart a deliberate movement across the integration depth and the artwork aspects. By plotting these coordinates, an abstract creative idea becomes a concrete architectural trajectory. But structural integration is only part of the equation. We must introduce the second layer of the framework, the value compass, dictating a project's direction. There is a common misconception that moving higher up the integration tiers is automatically better, or somehow more artistic. That is entirely false. A project's validity depends on its value orientation. The compass identifies three distinct directions: aesthetic, creative, or sociocultural. A basic Tier 1 style generator primarily pursues aesthetic value. A co-creative system, however, might prioritize creative value by deliberately expanding the artist's problem-solving process. Let's return to our case study. The artist decides to redesign their project into a live installation that continuously adapts to audience movement. As the project moves horizontally toward context, the core value direction shifts. It moves away from pursuing an aesthetic output and instead targets a socio-cultural experience. Identifying this value direction changes the criteria we use. A system integrated toward context and socio-cultural value is evaluated entirely differently than a simple aesthetic generator. To understand exactly how these systems function internally, this matrix outlines the mechanism layer, detailing the AI core functions across the three artwork aspects. This layer removes the need to name specific software models. It provides a model-agnostic vocabulary to explain precisely how the AI operates within any specific artwork aspect. There are 6 distinct functions at work here: represent, reason and infer, optimize and control, simulate and emulate, generate and create, and finally, autonomize and orchestrate. Let's apply this to the evolved live installation, which is now located at the intersection of high integration and context. To function in this new position, the AI is no longer just generating images. First, it must represent the live audience and the physical environment. Then, it has to reason and infer specific contextual patterns from that incoming audience data. Next, the system must simulate the complex interaction dynamics in real time. And finally, the AI must autonomize and orchestrate the entire interconnected live system to maintain the experience. Breaking a project down into these specific core functions reveals its true mechanics. We no longer have to rely on buzzwords to explain how an artwork operates. When we pull back, we can see all three conceptual layers working together in harmony: position, direction, and mechanism. This allows us to trace the full continuous pathway of our case study, starting as a simple Tier 1 aesthetic tool and growing into a complex Tier 4 socio-cultural ecosystem. The compass functions as a unified, actionable design space. It is used to locate, compare, and plan the architecture of any AI art project. This provides a structural language for evaluating practices based on the specific technical mechanisms being altered. As the technological landscape rapidly evolves, this holistic view provides a stable, lasting skeleton for understanding the entire domain. Ultimately, these technical frameworks exist to serve human cultural creation. We must stop defining AI art solely by the commercial models used to generate it, or the immediate aesthetic appeal of the final image. The true design questions are structural. What specific part of the artwork does the AI change, and exactly how deeply is it integrated? What kind of value does the system serve, and which core AI functions actually make it work?